Yes. Welcome to Come Well to another doorway, another portal entitled Amias as I am, most importantly though, as you are. Today's video is pretty much a video specifically for the students that will be attending class this spring, first week of April next month, and pretty much a general video of general information for people who wonder if I consider myself a teacher. Okay, so this is a video specifically for the students who will be attending class this spring 2025, and also just a video of general information for those who wonder if I consider myself a teacher. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. Okay, today's video is entitled, I don't teach, I just simply remind. I don't teach, I remind. Now, what do I mean by this? The first doorway is, why attend an institution when you can access intuition? Why attend an institution when you can access intuition? There's no need to learn when all you have to do is recall, which is known as the chemical acetylcholine. It's a chemical called acetylcholine in the brain when you recall what you already know. It's not learning, it's recalling. So there's no need to learn when all you have to do is recall what is known as the anatomical chemical called acetylcholine. You already contain the total recall or the total recalling of all that was, is, and will ever be. So instead of becoming, just simply be. You are your own institution. I'm showing you the way back into it. And that's where you get intuition. Intuition. I'm showing you the way back into your own institution. And inside of your own mental institution is your intuition. So that's why saying, why attend an institution when you can simply just access your intuition? That's one of the things my classes do, is to navigate you back or GPS you back to the primal location or the primal point where you truly exist, to access, to raise up the antenna and access your intuition. That's not called learning. That's why I don't teach. I don't consider myself a teacher. I'm just simply a reminder. You have sticky notes on your books when you study for an exam, where you put sticky notes in your refrigerator. That's what I am. I'm just a reminder. I'm not a teacher. Okay? And this is just something to understand from, once again, a metaphysical point of view, from the point of view of an occultist. OCCULTIST. The next doorway is, why attend when you can attain? Why attend when you can just simply attain? There's nothing and nowhere to go to. There's only activation and reception. There's nothing and nowhere to go to. There's only activation and then receiving or reception. You activate something, and that activation simultaneously brings on a draw. It starts to receive. You become a reception, or you go into receptive mode. Okay, so there's nothing and nowhere to go. There's only activation and reception. There's an old saying that says, wherever you are, there you are. Where you are standing right now is where you were born at. And it's where you will leave from. Where you're standing right now is where you were born at, whether you know it or not. And where you're standing right now, where you were born at is where you will also leave from. Like where I'm sitting right now, I was born at wherever I'm sitting at right now. Wherever I'm sitting right now, I was born at. And this is the spot where I will leave from. Because you never actually went anywhere or actually ever did anything. That's a whole nother conversation. I'll leave for class if you want more clarity. Wherever you are, there you are. Where you're standing right now is where you were born at, and where you're born at is where you will leave from. Walking through this reality is the same as walking through a video game, except it's just a virtual realism that has to believe that it is traveling. Life is a virtual realism. How do you think the invention of video games were created? It came from a certain truth. When we're playing a video game, or people play the video games, I don't play video games, but those that play video games, when you are a third person and you're walking through levels, climbing up ladders, walking to another level, going down the stairs, turning the corner, certain corners in the video game, walking down a hall, you're actually just there holding a remote control. You're not actually walking through doors and walking upstairs and climbing down ladders. That's a one-dimensional screen, a third-dimensional body holding a third-dimensional joystick, going through different levels and dimensions on a one-dimensional screen. That's actually what's happening. The person holding the controller is actually the soul, or symbolic or representative of the soul. The person walking through different levels and different dimensions, or the player that you pick walking through different dimensions and levels, upstairs and downstairs, is actually the human body, or this reality that we call life. So you see how the soul, your actual being, never actually walked anywhere. It's just pressing buttons and moving a joystick. That's why this reality is actually just a virtual realism. You've never went anywhere and never did anything. And this is where you get the 42 precepts of Ma'at, or the 42 annotations of Ma'at, or what you know as the 42 laws of Ma'at, which is I never went, you never did this, and I've never done that. And it's basically just the soul saying that it's never done anything. But the human body believes that it has done something, but your primal origin has never did anything and never went anywhere. Okay, I'll get too veer off at the moment. Okay, the next slide and doorway is why entertainment when you can just enter attainment? Why give attention to entertainment when you can just enter attainment? To attain means to receive, to get something from something for a specific reason. So there's no entertainment. This is not about entertainment. This is about entering attainment. Okay? So why put on a show when you are the only one being entertained? You are the only audience in existence. You are both the initiate and the initiation. You can understand that. That enters its own exit and exits its own entrance. You are the total one, the all. You exit your own entrance and you enter your own exit. Okay. You are the initiate, and you are both the initiate and the initiation. This is also in the book based on our ancient sciences or antiquity sciences. This book entitled Urbach by Ishaswala de Lubis, author Ishaswala de Lubis, if I'm correct. But the book is called Urbach or Herbach, and this is about our primal sciences of certain rites of passages and initiations. And it metaphysically describes how you are both the initiate and the initiation. So you initiate yourself. You bring yourself into something and take yourself out of something into the next something that you are, the next potential that you are. And place yourself in an actual new dimension, if for a way of understanding, a way of orchestrating words in a certain way of understanding. You put yourself in the next dimension. It is you which is the initiate, and it is you which becomes initiated. Okay, and it is for me to remind you of that gnosis which you already forgot you contained. Okay. The next doorway is, why learn when you can just align? Why learn anything when you can just align? Everything of divine value and worth remains as a constant go-to within the middle stream and groove of spiritual reception. Everything of divine value and worth remains as a constant go-to within the middle stream and groove of spiritual reception. So all you have to do is place yourself back within that space and you turn right on right away. Okay, there's nothing to do after that but begin witnessing, directing, and animating the intelligence being received. What do I mean by this? There's something in the middle. There's a middle stream of cosmic gnosis, of divine gnosis. So, in other words, if you are not there, then you are out of your place. You are out of your nature. You are out of your space. All you have to do is put yourself back in that space, realign yourself back in that space, and you turn right on right away. So not only am I a reminder, but I'm also a mover. I move you back into the groove, the space, the middle stream, where true consciousness, subconsciousness resides. And there's nothing that has to give you anything anymore. You just turn right on. See, it's like placing your phone on the charger. As soon as the charger goes into the phone, the phone turns right on and begins charging. That's like what alignment is. There's nothing to do but to plug yourself in, but to realign yourself back into the space of where you are primarily, or where you primarily derive from or protrude from. But you just forgot. And I'm just here to remind you. Seeking to learn something, if you are seeking to learn something, pay attention to this. Seeking to learn something is like trying to create okay, before I get into this, so it's going to get a little bit wordy, but this is for a simple mind or someone who is of the mind, because you're going to get this very simple. It's very simple to understand. It's going to be a little bit wordy, but just follow the words, follow me as I go along. Seeking to learn something is like trying to create a new synaptical reconfiguration within the brain. But wait, by cosmic law, there's nothing new under the sun. So how can that even be possible? How can you create a new synaptical reconfiguration within the brain when there's nothing new under the sun? So learning by its own definition has to be an oxymoron. You can't learn anything. But you can't learn life. You can learn to ride a bike. You can learn to ride a skateboard. You can learn activity, but you can't learn life. Okay. So how can that be possible? What should really be happening? What should really be happening inside of your brain is a neuromelanic charge and discharge. A neuromelanic charge and discharge to reach the further melaneuron, which is known as the quantum leap, when the synapse, one of the neurons of the synapses charges and discharges to another neuron, the furthest neuron, that's known as the quantum leap. Okay, because it's going through a quantum dimension. So, but it's leaping bounds past the most closest neurons, and it's going to the furthest neuron. That's a quantum leap. That's a quantum jump. That's a mental jump. And when, say, you have 4 neurons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that first one charges and discharges across to the 4th neuron, those 3 in the middle turn right on, like Christmas lights. Like if you have ever hung up Christmas lights and you plug it in, or some may not be working or acting up, but once you plug it in, those ones just light up. You plug in the first one, the other ones just light up. That's kind of like how the synaptical configuration of the brain functions, in a certain way of understanding. I could explain in more detail during the classes, but that's known that's known as the quantum leap or the quantum jump. Okay, and that's really what should be happening in the brain, not something new, not some new synaptical reconfiguration of the brain. There's nothing new. There's no new mapping of the synapses in the brain. There's already the divine blueprint. You are already the divine architect. You already architected this blueprint in this body that's already there. You're just turning it on. Okay? So, what should really be happening is a neuromelanic charge and discharge to reach the furthest melaneuron to begin reawakening the electrical circuitry which is already there. You were born with an already made cosmic blueprint that just needed you to flick on its circuitry so it can begin regenerating the common thread of the collective intelligence that you've arrived with. That's it. There's no such thing. Think about this. How much sense does this make? There's no such thing as working for an inheritance. You've inherited something as soon as you came here. You immediately and simultaneously inherit something. But what is that you inherit? Something which you forgot, or we are supposed to forget, or it has been forgotten. It has become forbidden. But we are here to retreat back to it and retrieve it. But we just forgot. That's why all I'm gonna do in the classes is just simply remind you. Okay? Just understand, you can't achieve, you can only retrieve. Okay? You can't achieve, you can only retrieve. So there's no learning, there's no achieving. You're just retrieving, not achieving, retrieving. It's a big difference. You can't work on or work for or work towards anything if you are already the inherited one or the inherent one. You have already inherited. Where's my inheritance? And that's what I'm here to remind you and show you. The next line in doorway is, don't look for a teacher. Look for a pointer. Don't look for a teacher. Look for a pointer, the one who points you towards the way. So not also am I just a reminder, I'm also a pointer. I point you. I point you that way, then I point you that way. I point you back to yourself. Like I was pointed back to myself. I point you back to yourself. Once again, we're going to get our inheritance. We are retrieving and claiming our inheritance. Okay? Look for a pointer, not an appointer. A pointer. I am a pointer. That's what I am. I'm a pointer. I point you in the direction which you should be going. I'm not an appointer. This is not an appointment. I just point. One who points you towards the inside. From that, once you get pointed inside, the inside chaperones you right away to the median or middled intelligence, which is the unknown space of anonymous receivings, which is your gifts. You receive your gifts, and your gifts come in the form of glyphs. So you get the hieroglyphs or the petroglyphs, things on rock carved in stone. This is where the hieroglyphs, the glyphs, the symbols or the symbology, which is in the subconscious realm, the subconscious dimension, is your gifts. So receive your gifts. When you see the glyphs in your mind, then that means that you have received the gifts. You have claimed your inheritance. When the subconscious mind starts communicating to you and you start communicating back to it, you are able to decode and decipher what it's saying, and you create a relationship with it. You automatically get reminded. The total recall has begun. The next doorway is for my students. We don't attend to class. We return to the reminding. We don't attend to class. We simply return to the reminding. We return in order to reburn. What is known as forward is actually retreat. There's nowhere to run, or there's nowhere to run to. So we return in order to reburn. You think this is the first time that you're joining class? No, this is a returning for a reburning to light up that darkness inside of you. The darkness is nothing but the hidden potential, the chaos which lurks. Yeah, the hidden potential, the chaos which lurks, the activation, the turn-on switch. Yeah, that's what the darkness is, the subconscious mind. So there's nowhere to run to. Right? So as we go forward in class, we're not really going forward, we're actually rewinding back to the beginning point of what you truly are and where you truly derive from and what this truly is. Okay? I don't know if y'all know the Running Man, the dance the Running Man back in the day in the 90s, 80s, 90s, late 80s, 90s. There was a dance called the Running Man. So I made this certain kind of significant, certain kind of point about it. So you're not doing the running man, you're actually doing the move. Another way of understanding about you're not going forward, you're going backward. So it's not about doing the running man, it's about doing the moonwalk. So we're doing moonwalk studies, not doing running man studies. Because running man, you're not going anywhere. Physically, you're not going anywhere, which is spiritually correct. But in the studies of the classes, we're doing the moonwalk, the Michael Jackson moonwalk. We're going back. It looks like he's going forward, but he's actually moving backwards. He's stepping, but he's moving back. That's actually what the classes and the study is about. We're going step by step, and step by step kind of implies forward by forward, but step by step we're going back. We're retrieving back, or what is called Sankofa in West Africa, to retrieve, once again, our divine inheritance. The next doorway is, I don't hold attendance. I point you home for transcendence. For my students, specifically, also a general statement. During my classes, we don't hold attendance. We point you home for transcendence. This is what I do. Once again, the points, I point you home for transcendence. We're not here to take attendance, per se. We're here to return back to transcendence. But to wake back up to our transcendental nature. So that you recognize your divine exit and entrance. I want you to see your divine exit, and I want you to see your divine entrance. This way you can enter and leave when you want to. You can arrive and depart whenever you feel like, spiritually. In class, away from class, towards the next class, you have to be able to be of this world, but not be of this reality, but not of this reality. Or be of this reality, but while at the same time not in this reality. And vice versa as well. Okay, and the mind gives you access to that spiritual exercise. Okay, I don't hold attendance, I point you home for transcendence, so that you recognize your divine exit and your divine entrance. Your true nature, it's a little wordy again, it's not too much, but your true nature is a reciprocating polaritarian intelligence, meaning you are just a bridge, a swinging door that constantly swings closed and swings open simultaneously, just like the kitchen door in a restaurant, whether you know it or not. So whether you know it or not, moment to moment, you're constantly leaving and returning this experience. You're constantly going in and out of mental agreements and disagreements, rights and wrongs, contracts and breaches, giving attention and withdrawing attention. This is what you are doing simultaneously, moment to moment, whether you know it or not. You're constantly leaving this dimension and returning back to this dimension with your mind. This is how your very nature functions and operates. And I'm just here to remind you. This is when you left and this is when you returned again. This is how you leave and this is how you return. And you always need that exit and that entrance. Just like when you are pissed off, you always need that awareness to bring you back to center. When you leave the center, to return back to center. So you're always leaving and returning different dimensions. Like you're always leaving and returning different mindsets, different ways of thinking, different emotional bodies, different moods, different feelings, different thoughts. You're always constantly leaving and returning, and I need you to recognize that and realize that truth. See, that way, and my only point is to make you do that by choice rather than by chance. I'm here to show you how to do that by choice rather than just doing it by chance or what you think by mistake or just it just happened. You know, aren't you tired of saying that just happened? Why not create the happening and make it happen when you want it to happen? And don't make it happen when you don't want it to happen. That's my point. Make it happen by choice. Stop living by chance. The last doorway for today's video is all I do. This is going to get a little bit later on. It's a little paragraph, but it gets a little wordy. Stick with me once again. All I do is place a lit candle in the middle of a dark room to shine light on the hidden contents inside of the room. All I do is supply heat, hot water, and electricity to an abandoned home that you forgot that you owned. So 2 things what I do in class. I place a lit candle in the middle of a dark room to shine light on the hidden contents within the room. And then I also supply heat, hot water, and electricity, i.e. synapse or synaptical connections, to an abandoned home that you forgot that you owned. Are these just cute and fancy metaphors I'm saying? No. They are literal truths being subliminally explained. Where are these dark rooms or dark realms inside of our human body where the candle gets lit? Where is the abandoned home or the abode of inside of our human bodies that needs its electricity turned back on? Well, what I'm referring to is the brain. The cosmic soot or the cosmic stain or the anatomical dark matter or the anatomical dark plasma inside of the brain that needs to be lit up and regenerated with electricity. You have actual cosmic soot, black matter, black plasma, cosmic plasma inside of your brain. I call it cosmic stains because it looks like a black stain. Like you ever spill wine or on the carpet or on a couch or a cushion and you scrub it and it's like almost hard and impossible to come out. It's the same kind of black color, black, cosmic black stain. These stains are literally on and within your brain. It's dark plasma, dark matter. And these are in specific locations within your brain. And those dark spots, those dark plasmic spots are what I'm referring to as the so-called metaphor of a dark room or an abandoned home. These have to be turned back on. This is, matter of fact, those spots are your divine inheritance. If you see me in my home, I'm always walking through my home in darkness. I like the darkness. And that's connected to the understanding of the subconscious mind. The hooded ones, the hidden ones. Once again, like I said, the very things you see with are your pupils, and your pupils are black. So if you are afraid of the black or you are afraid of the dark, then you are afraid of your eyes. You are afraid of your view. You are afraid to see. I'm not with that dark stuff. I don't know about that dark stuff. Then close your eyes. There's no way around that. So when I talk dark, I'm talking about the hidden. I'm talking about the subconscious mind. And what do you think we walked around in those ancestral times, in these temples, these pyramids, these covenants? They were all very dark corners, and the only thing that lit up those dark corners were candles. We didn't have lamps and chandeliers and bright lights above our head. The light that shined wasn't above our head. We made sure it had a certain kind of brim or rim over it. Sort of like what we have in our homes now called lamps. And the light was always lower than our head. It was never above our head because our head was the highest thing that shined in our reality. So nothing was higher than the human head. And that was symbolic. Sacred geometry. We did that on purpose. I'm the brightest thing that shines in here. You are the brightest thing that shines in your home. Nothing shines higher than this. That's why we didn't have lights, bright lights on our ceilings. If anything, get a lamp and make sure that lamp is at head level or below, preferably below, but no higher than your head. This will begin to subliminally and subconsciously put you in that dimension, put you in that reality of the subconscious mind. What is microcosm is macrocosm. What you do in the macrocosm is a mimicking or a representation of that which is happening on the microcosm. This is how you begin to subconsciously train yourself that you are the brightest thing in existence and you're also the darkest thing in existence. Because remember, light can only be light once it's inside of or homed or housed inside of darkness. Light can't be light inside of a room of light. Light doesn't exist there. Light only exists inside of a room which is dark. This is why you seek light. This is why my students seek light. This is why I seek light. And why I still seek light and will always seek light. Because I'm always inside of the dark of my mind. I'm always inside of my subconscious mind. And that's why I call you guys my subconscious scribers, which is the subscribers. Subscribe is the subconscious scribes, the subconscious scrolls, or the subconscious unravelings. You are trying to unravel, you are trying to unlock, you are trying to unfold. You're trying to open up to see what is in those dark spots. What's in that dark room? What's in those abandoned homes? How can I generate power back into it? This is how you generate power back into it. These are the classes, these are the reachings, teachings, reachings, reminders. This is your inheritance. And I'm just giving to you, I'm pointing you just as I was pointed. So, these dark spots, just to name a few areas in the brain where these dark spots are at, it's called the cuneus. Another spot is called the substantia nigra. Another spot is called the putamen. Another spot is called the zona reticularis. Another spot is called the locus coeruleus, etc., amongst other locations within the brain. I'm not going to go down the whole list. We're going to go through that in class, and there's going to be images and things that you can do to begin opening or communicating with these spots that has been dormant and has been left latent, has been abandoned, has been neglected. It's time to turn it back on. It's time to regenerate the power back through those nerve workings to wake that back up. This is wake up time. All of these dark plasmic stains are contained with a specific cellular intelligence. If you want, well, we'll go into that in classes more specifically to go into these dark spots. I'm going to give you the biological term as well as the metaphysical methods and techniques of opening them, communicating with it, and receiving your inheritance from it. And like I told y'all, it's going to change your reality just like this. Instantly. Because remember, spiritual work or solar work is a intelligence which does not exist in the frame of time. So it is a right away, immediate thing. It's not, takes time. It happens right now. So true it is. It's within something. So that's all I wanted to say as of today, because the classes are starting and just preparing certain notes, being open and receiving the channels, which are coming constantly, every day, every moment. These classes are going to be very, 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 very powerful, very insightful. I suggest any and all to sign up for these classes as well as the following classes after. And there's different semesters, different quarters of this, but there's definitely a divine order and a progress to these gradual points to graduate from here to here to here to here. If you guys are interested, any more of you people, my subconscious subscribers and others that you pass this light on to, if they are curious or want to know the information for these classes, get in touch, stay in reach, and through the email on the bottom video, and I will pass it through and pass it out to y'all. But a lot of y'all have already signed up, and it's appreciative, definitely, as always and always. And this ain't entertainment, this ain't a game, this is serious. We're also gonna have fun, you know. We're also gonna have enjoyable time, and I'm pretty much gonna let the classes and let everything within the classes pretty much speak for itself. Am I as I am? Most importantly, as you are. I'll see you guys in class. Until then, keep studying, keep researching. Most importantly, remain aware throughout your experience. 1, 0.